Hey, how's it going? Hope you guys doing well. Welcome in, Marcus. Happy Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. Hope you're doing well. My tooth hurts. Or my gums. I don't know. I can't tell the difference. I don't know how you can tell. One of the things hurts. I don't like it. I was like thinking, like, should I talk to the dentist? I'm like, I don't really want to. I'm gonna sleep on it a single night, and if I still have this problem tomorrow, then I'll reach out. It does. Cause I know maybe like I just accidentally like scratched it, or like the gums or something, and it's like it could be like a temporary thing and it'll go away. I don't want to deal with that stuff. And then I don't know how much that's gonna cost either. I don't wanna. Don't make me. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. After yesterday's stream, I found the thing that I was trying to find yesterday regarding the widgets. I posted about it in the Discord, but I'll also mention it when we get into the game. Hey, Shastra and Vicious, welcome in, guys. Hope you're doing well. I don't know about you, but over the last few years, you're trying to hold off going because it's too freaking expensive. Yeah, I'm just paying out of pocket. And no public dentistry in Canada. The dentistry in Canada is private. You have to pay for dentistry. So I pay out of pocket because I don't have dental insurance. And I don't have a reason to get dental insurance because it would I think it would cost me more than I would use. Otherwise, why would I? Right? Otherwise, then why would dentists or the insurance ever do it? But usually, like, work pays for some of it. Like sometimes when you're working, right, work covers some of it or all of it, and then yeah, cool, great. But if it's like just fully out of pocket, regardless whether it's for the dentist insurance or the dentist, I'm like, I don't think there's a difference. I didn't do the math, to be clear. But dentistry is so important for health, it makes no sense not to have it be public. Oh, it's public. It just costs money. I went like almost a decade without going to the dentist. Don't do that. Because I was in the US and I just didn't want to deal with that. Then I came here and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should finally do that. It's same in Australia where eyes and teeth don't count as body health. Yeah, then it's like same here, yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, if they included cleaning, that'd be great. Every time I go cleaning, it's like $300 something. So if you do that 4 times a year, right? That's like $1,300 plus just for the cleaning. Yep. That's where they get you. That's where they screw you here. They can't screw you on the regular medicine stuff. So they screw you here on the dentistry. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Vicious. Exactly. Well, other than that, I made some performance improvements. We got to finish the stuff that we were doing yesterday with the post-processed material stuff. And I think I want to make an additional editor utility widgets that will auto-refresh all my BCG graphs. So, you're a guest to hear it. That's what happens when you don't have dental insurance. Like, I need to look into how much it would cost it, but I just mathematically, I wouldn't understand if it was cheaper. Right now, Canadian healthcare is depressing. BC's hiring staff where they where their core competencies should be DEI and wokeism. Hiring should. What do you mean it should not be? I think I'm confused on that one. DIY what, dentistry? Trying to clean themselves? I mean, look, I can't floss myself. Do I have the little floss things that I use here? I had one earlier, but I think I threw that. I have one in the trash here. I use these to floss because I can't use regular floss. Like the actual like floss. Like I don't understand how you position your hands to fit in your mouth and then also like my brain does not compute. So I use those things to just floss. So I can't imagine how you would do dentistry on yourself. And someone else maybe, but then you're just being a dentist. Have you tried a water pick? No, I haven't. No. I've been recommended them, but I've never used it. No. I've never seen one. I know I could probably get one on Amazon, but these are simple. Wait, that's in the job description? Why? I want someone competent. I don't care what they are, who they are. I just hire people on skill. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. Apparently water picks tend to miss deep pockets. Well, there you go. More reason to use the one I'm using. Last night, I had a random, or not a random. Well, yeah, I guess I had a random video recommended to me where it was just two guys talking to each other, and one was a programmer, engineer, whatever the hell they're called. I think he says I don't know. He doesn't know what the title is these days that fits. But he has like 20 years of experience with coding. And the other guy was just like, hey, I'm going to use, in his case, Claude to make some kind of thing. After like skimming a bit of that, I come to think of that. I was like, now I can't code. I don't want to code. But I can ask it to make a small tool for me that is independent of everything else, that won't affect the game, won't affect like anything in reality, as just like an information base. And that's what and then this morning, I basically asked it to do that. Now, it still has things to iron out. And it's like the tab is like a gig and a half of memory just to have it still open and slagging because the history is so big. Because the actual code is like 30,000 something characters that it's been pasting multiple times as I make iterations. But I can show this. I just had to make a damage calculation thing for me. Where basically I can put in my base stats, my upgrades, like my stat upgrades, how many upgrades I have and what. So like if I can upgrade my damage scale, right? And I can just, and then it'll just update all of my damage calculations. And then I could say, well, my base damage is 10, but the cooldown on this, right, is 9 seconds. And they'll tell me my average DPS or my crit-based DPS, if this was, you know, if this one had a damage scale of, you know, 500, right, then it'll just adjust it all. And it'll just adjust all the values for me, which is really, I just wanted to see what my damage stuff is. I was like, why don't I just tell it to do that? And then I also had it make one for my power-ups that I can modify a stat and then it will increase or decrease. It's not perfect. I can just add a new one. But it's HTML. So I just run it in my browser. It's great. Welcome in, Kane. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. That was okay. You got a little bit of modifications to do, but it was just like as a way of just helping me balance the game. Again, it's just as an external tool to help me just balance the game. I think, why not? Seems like non-engineers don't understand the difference. Everyone is using AI in the real world, but it doesn't mean it's vibe coding. You give specific and small scoped instructions on a review. Oh, what I just did is vibe coding. What I did is 100% vibe coding. I know not all engineers are vibe coding, but what I did is 100% vibe coding. But it works, you're right. It works. Not the point of today's video, but I was like, hey, maybe I just, you know, for helping with figuring out balance, because that's just a lot of math that I'm not good with. And if I can help with that, basically by just setting it up. There's just a random thought that I had when going to sleep. You talked about a competition. I don't know what competition is. Competition code? No. Or so, right? I don't know what that is. No? Hear that all the time in any chat and it just makes no sense? I'm not sure what you refer to, but no. Compilation? No. No? I don't know what any of that is. That's not something I said, so I have no idea. AI can help with a lot of errors. Yeah, that's why I had it make an external thing entirely that touches nothing that I'm actually doing or I care about. It has made a lot of mathematical mistakes, and I've caught it and I keep telling it to fix stuff. This is 100% vibe coding. But it's not something like I care about. If it doesn't work, I'll just say screw it and just use Google Sheets, which is what I was going to be doing anyway. But so far, so good. Noun verse of compile. Isn't compile also noun? A compile? No. To compile? No. We're talking about vibe coding versus engineer? No. Well, yeah, in the video, one guy vibe coded, another was an engineer. Yeah, but I just showed that, hey, he made a tool, and I was like, maybe I can make an external one that has nothing to do with each other. So yeah. When you build your project, it goes through a process called compile. Yep. Like, I'm just not good with terms. Okay. A lot of times people ask me about some kind of, you know, setting or tool that's built into Unreal, and I have no idea what they're talking about. And when they show me the thing, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I know that one. It's happened so many times. I just don't pay attention to names. I'm bad with names and dates. I was never good in history. Shall we jump into some actual Unreal though? There's genuinely too much to remember in UE, so fair enough. Yeah, and different people focus on different stuff. Right? Like there's the static mesh auto convex or auto collision thing, right? It has a name, and someone at one point said it. If I was just to find just a random static mesh, doesn't matter. Auto convex collision here, but if I was to scroll down, there was a different name. Let me just make sure this is one that's not going to be in the engine. Okay, yes, good. If I did auto convex collision, it opens this convex decomposition. And someone's like, hey, I'm talking about convex decomposition. I've never even looked at the name before then, and I forgot it since, clearly. It's the auto collision tool to me. I don't I don't care what it's called. I just need to know how to, I don't need to know how how things work. I just need to know what happens when I press the button. Same thing. Thought of making some editor widgets, like listing all static assets with shadows enabled and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I've done stuff like that. Yeah, I've made stuff like that for work. I made it's a simple one that just checks if you've set visibility to off and it swaps visibility off to hidden in game on. Because when you set visibility to off, and this is like an editor thing, may God have mercy on your soul. If you're one of those psychos that in the world turns off visibility so you don't see it in the editor even, may God have mercy on your soul, because there's a special place in hell on you. Hey Starman, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you doing well. Like turn on hidden in game so it's just not visible in game, but at least you know it's there in the editor, because you're left after. If you put it as visibility off, and why I don't like it is because, yeah, you put visibility off, then you go away, you forget about it, and then a month down the line, you're wondering why everything is not running great, and you have like 100 things that are just actually there using up resources that are just invisible. No. It's fine to use visibility at runtime. Go have fun. Just don't make it invisible in editor if it's the permanent state. If you're using visibility to then turn it back on, then at runtime, like cool, whatever. But just permanent visibility off. You've been building a 100-story tower. Well, build one story tower and just duplicate it. Well, yes, 2-story, because usually the ground floor is different. Build a 2-story tower and duplicate the second floor. But the plan for today is relatively simple. Before I go into that, I want to show you guys. I'm going to undo my change real quick. And I'm going to show you guys this insane difference. One moment. I need to load like just the basic stuff first. First I'm running, right? I need to load all the stuff. It's almost 75 degrees here, and it feels so much hotter. Okay. Good enough, probably, if I did this. Okay, yep, this is good enough. Test. So, if we take a look here, right, this is the profile GPU. You see this blue? It says world tick. This is all of the little health bars, even the hidden ones, that are just ticking. And if you disabled tick on them, they would just not update. Okay? But I found the damn setting I wanted. And now, if I played, you go outside and turn the water off that's on the house? What is it? Why is your water on the house? That sounds dangerous. Also, water is good. Why turn it off? Right, so we have all the health bars, right? We have 2 packs here. Perfect. If I just go ahead and make a second one here. So if we look at this one, this is the previous one at 0.72 world tick. Here's the new one at 0.05 world tick. Hey, Life Lessons, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. I just killed like 0.6 world tick. From like it's still a little, 0.05, compared to 0.72. So what I did was these damn widgets in the world redraw time. The time in between draws. So I've put it to 0.1, and this is 0.1 seconds. So it will only update at maximum once every 0.1 seconds, aka 10 times a second. If it was this, when it's 0, it's on tick. This is every 0.1 seconds now. So all of those health things update just once every 10 times a second, which is considerably more efficient than, in my case, over 200, like 150 to 200 times a second. Right? Because it was on tick and my frame rate was that high. And the one that I'm spawning, I'm also doing that on now. So I just do set redraw time to 0.1. And that's it. That's all you need to do. But yeah, you can't turn off tick, or it just refuses to update ever. But that one setting, that's it. Neither did I, Kane. Neither did I. It's one of the things I'll talk about in Sunday's video, like just random stuff that I just found. That they would redraw as often as your frames are. Yeah, so that by default that is the case. By default, if you have redraw time at 0, it redraws on tick. But that means that if you have 150 frames a second game, it will redraw 150 times a second. You probably don't need it to. So I made 0.1 because I just need to update, right? So I don't need, and this is at most. Like, if you have a lag spike, it will not update multiple times, from my understanding. It'll just update at most every 0.1 seconds. You cannot turn tick off. Watch what happens when I turn tick off. If I turn tick off, it just will not work anymore. The reason it doesn't, it requires tick to freaking work. And when you disable tick, you cannot re-enable tick because something under the hood gets turned off that you don't have access to re-enable. So if I turn tick off and they have no health bars because it needs freaking tick, it needs those tick updates to just even display anything or make any kind of updates, including the first visual thing where it just comes on screen. So, yeah. Yeah, it can turn off tick, but you can do that, and then problem solved. Hello, dual operator. Welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Yeah. I tried all sorts of things, but then I found that, and it works. But keep in mind that means that is the fastest it can ever update. So if you set it to be like 5, it will update once every 5 seconds, and you cannot force it to be faster update than that. So realistically, you're probably going to put it at like, 0.1, 0.05, just to limit it to at most be like, a few times a second. Because like for a health bar, you don't need it to update on tick, right? You don't need, like, as long as it's like relatively quick when you like impact someone, right? It's good enough. And that's how I dropped the performance rate of that so much, which is great. Yeah, 0.1 is, I think I had it, I tried at 0.25 and I noticed a visual difference. Like when I hit, then it was just too big of a delay. 0.1 is around where it's like, okay, it's close enough where I don't feel like I'm waiting for the health to update. But obviously, depending on people's setups, you might want to do more or less, right? And depending on what you're doing. But the plan for today is to go in and we need to update all of our graphs, our PCG graphs, to change the value on the custom depth stencil value to be 1 instead of 0. And then we'll make a editor utility widget to auto refresh the ones on all the different levels. Now that we did that, we're back to having the Toon shader on. And also, we'll need to go through all the static meshes. So these two one. These. I'm pretty sure all of these should be on. Yep. Oh, I guess the planes ones don't need to be. Yeah, the plain ones do need to not be on. So we got that, what else do we need? Oh yeah, these guys. You like the idea of a health bar delay for hardcore style modes? You can do that, yeah. But just keep in mind that it's not a delay from being after the hit, right? That time goes. It could effectively be instantaneous. It's just a matter of like, because the 0.1 thing constantly goes. And if you hit at the 0.01 mark, then you have the majority of 0.1 seconds to wait. But if you hit at the 0.99 mark, right, then it's almost gonna basically gonna be instantaneous. So just keep that in mind. That if you're trying to like force a delay, then yeah, you get it. Finally got your CD logic for your PCG working when starting a new run from the front end. Nice. Congrats. Oh, you could see it change. Bam. Also need these guys updated. I wish you could bulk edit them. Like, literally, I can't even just do this, right? Because it all has different meshes, so I can't even select multiple static mesh spawners at once. I have to go into each one and then manually choose it, change it for each freaking template descriptor. I mean, yeah, it could have been probably an attribute, right? But it's already set up. I didn't think I was ever gonna need it. Oh, trees as well. Why are you like bright? Why are you glowing? Well, that's how that widget's tick timing works, from my understanding. Specifically, not tick in general. I'm talking about that specific thing. Okay, let's double check that things are as we'd expect. Anything else here that's well, this looks weird. Why does that look weird? Ah, there we go. Oh, so I guess I need to give it a custom depth of 0 specifically to cut it out. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Looking good. Right, all of this stuff is working. Let's do this graph. Watch these turn the right thing. Ta-da. I think that's all the graphs. I only did the rock one, just scatter. Why is it not hinting? It is. But why is it like this? This is the default material. Yeah, there we go. Okay. These are fine. I don't know why that one wasn't. Whatever. Okay, so I think we're now good. So the next thing that we want to do, right, is to make that setup. You can disable tick and then manually yeah, I went through this process, Kane. I went through this process. It doesn't work. As soon as you tell him that no, that doesn't work, I went through this yesterday. You can even watch the VODs. I did Grok told me the same thing. If you tell it that no, that doesn't work that way, it just nothing updates. It will then say, oh yeah, that's right. This is not it's not a thing. We went through this yesterday. This exact same thing. All the AIs tell you the exact same thing, it seems. That's why and then none of them really mentioned just updating the redraw time, because I first asked it like, hey, can I just slow down the tick update time? And it just said no, basically. But no, the redraw time was what I was looking for. Okay, let's go ahead and update this one. So let's go ahead and I'll wrap this with a vertical box. I can add another overlay here. And then let's add in a button. And I want to add some padding from the top. And then this will just say refresh BCG. And I kept telling you you don't need to have tick enabled. Your gameplay ability system stuff refused to work as they put tick equals beyond. The old trans stack overflow, yep. Yeah, it's pretty bad with tick logic. I mean, look, the thing is, right, is when it comes to blueprint stuff, as I always say, it's as good as the search. Because there's no information anywhere. So it really needs to find someone that has discussed this at some point somewhere. And this is not something that people discuss anywhere. So if it can't find information, it just has to assume, and that's where it can get things wrong. So typically if Grok can't find any references for it, that means it basically doesn't exist. Or it's in some real niche place that is just like hidden behind, from everyone's eyes. Because there's no like blueprint documentation, like proper ones for nodes. How are you keeping the game running while you work on your files and stuff? Or is it just because your PC is crap and you have end Pi? Oh, is the game running? The game's not running. I mean, I have a really good PC regardless. I do have good PC. Oh, you're good. Yeah, typically you don't want to modify all this kind of stuff while it's running. I want to get all world actors. I don't have those. It's fine. We just use this anyway. Get all actors. All level actors. Ooh, I can get all level components. Get all level actors components. Find all loaded actor component owned by an actor in the world editor. I mean, we can try that. Because I just need the PCG component. If this is equal to oh. Okay. Never mind. Get all level actors is going to be easier this way. Screw it. For each loop, pass gets components by class. PCG and is valid. You're rocking i7 Dell all-in-one? Well, that's it. Do they still make those? That's supposed to be old at this point. I remember they used to. How old is it? Need to upgrade. It's time to work on VFX and lighting where it's doing the job for learning blueprints. Yeah. I mean, look, you basically need, your machine just needs to be as good as the maximum, like, you want to be able to build for effectively. So like, for example, if you have like a really shitty computer, you're not making the top of the line, visually amazing AAA games on it, right? But if you want to make like a lower end game that you'll run fantastic on your hardware, you will. You can do that. Nothing's gonna stop you. Your hardware just needs to be as good as the game you're trying to make. So if you have an amazing computer, you can build for those kind of computers. And if you have a shittier one, you build for a shittier one. Technically speaking, right, you can lower your graphics qualities and build on low, but you'll never truly see it as someone on the higher end computers, right? $2021, give or take, a couple of years. I mean, that's a pretty good age for the computer. 5 years, yeah. We could try just clicking, making it generate and seeing if it'll just work. Because if it doesn't, this is going to be a bit more of a pain in the butt because we'll need to add it to an array, so we can add a tick of delay. Let's find out if this works. You guys see the update? It refreshed it. So if I go on any of these, and I go to search custom data, or custom, what's it called? Not custom data. Search custom. Yeah, there we go. Custom depth central value 1. Cool. That works. That was nice and simple. So now if I make an update to my graphs, I need to load up the levels. And then press this button and it will refresh it with the new setups. So much faster now. But I need to also make another one that sets all the static mesh component values. Let's do that as well. Let's duplicate this. This is going to be set custom data 2, and then we'll wrap this with a horizontal box, so that way we can put an input here. Bill, I don't want it to. Can I make this somehow fit better? Sure, good enough. Yeah, I had to freaking verify the entire engine. After I verified the entire engine, then I could uninstall the plugin. Yep. Oh, I guess it's super small. Good enough. So it's a variable. Custom stencil value. Set custom stencil. On clicked. I need the same thing as this. Sets custom stencil value to desired on static meshes. A faster way is to find the marketplace folder in the engine and eat it. Yeah, but The problem is, if it's having issues, I would still verify because clearly the engine's having other issues too, probably. If it didn't work, then yes, that's what I was going to do. But I wanted to just check that, like, everything wasn't broken. Because if things are broken, I want to make sure that, you know, at least take my steps to check. Is it on the static mesh component that I'm setting this, or is it on the actor? Static mesh component. And we want to set render custom depth pass. True. Oh, so sorry. Before I do this, is valid. Yep. And then set custom depth stencil value to be the that was it blind? Oh, I didn't turn it to a variable. That's why. To you. Yeah, text. To text to string. String to int. It can't be just a single conversion. Okay. So this has a value of 0. If I just let's actually load up the original room. But regardless, this has a value of 0, right? I click this. It has a value of 1. Ta-da! So now we can do both. So I can update all of the static meshes in the world. And I can update all of the other stuff. You're gonna need to have this set inside the pool. There's a few other ones that we're going to need to do this on, I believe. Like the one in the boss room as this one. Yeah. Did I? Oh, it's right on top of each other. Vertical box, please. I'm like, where'd my other button go? There we go. I'm like, what happened? So now it's 2 buttons to update all those things. So much better. Refresh. This is why freaking, like I was watching the videos on like people using MCP, right? The AI integration. And they're like, oh, it's, it's not that great about doing like some stuff, but it's very good about like bulk stuff. Yeah, but you can just make your own tool. This didn't take me long. And I can just migrate this to any project I want. So good. Like, there's already ways of like bulk stuff.
Stream on ice so you don't see me fight with event begin play again.
Tomorrow is your last and final interview, so wish me luck. I hope you get it. Japan is your goal. Well, best of luck. I assume the final interview at the studio you want to be at. Best of luck. That's probably very exciting and very terrifying. Last interview phase? Nice. The fact that you've gone through that much, that means they like you to at least some degree. So, it's a good start. Although, man, there was a short that I saw about it was a guy who has made it through multiple phases of an interview and then told the interviewers, yeah, you're not a good fit for me. This is not gonna work out. Because the joke is, right, they're wasting your time when they don't take you, but instead you're wasting their time and their resources. I found it funny. And it's like, if you have nothing better to do, then, you're not really wasting your time. You're just having fun. But you did it once, but it was in the first interview. Yeah, but you were probably doing it like because you were actually wanted the place and then said no? Or did you go in with the intention of saying no? Then they'll lay off people because to be the C-suite expectations, bonus expectations. Like, I understand why studios lay off people when a project is finished. Financially, it makes sense. I'm not saying it's good, but financially it makes sense that if you don't have a use case for someone because you didn't, for whatever reason, plan to have another project in development, like someone's an effects person. Hey, Deus, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Right? If someone's an effects person and all of a sudden you're now in pre-production, you have nothing for that person to do. So financially, I get why it happens. Now, I don't like it, but I understand why it happens. So yeah, when a project's finished, they're like, well, they didn't do a good, the management fucked up and didn't do a good job planning. So, you know, they have like overlapping projects so people can continue moving from one to the other to the other. And so this is where they are. Like ideally, if you want to always be constant throughout, you would need to overlap multiple projects where when one ends a certain phase, the next one starts that phase. And so your artist would always move from one to the other, right, in sequence. But in reality, that's never, well, the reality. Unfortunately. When you're smaller, that's not a possibility. When you're big, you could do that, but they don't. You first one on the job? Yeah. I've had scenarios like that where like at first I really wanted the job, and then I'm like, not anymore. When I was younger, I really wanted to work at Square Enix. Like during the early Final Fantasy 7, 10, right? I loved those games. Nowadays, I don't really care about it much. Hey, Juan, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. The redraw time is only for widgets in world space, not screen space thing. Possibly. I can't say for sure. What is the default? Is it default typically to world space? I think it is. Yeah, I think it's world space. I use world space. For whatever reason, I could never get screen space to work properly at all. Like, it would just refuse to display properly. So I think I always use world space. Give your health bars and screen space on the enemies. This is a utility widget. What he's talking about is a regular widget. Just like a widget on a component. But yeah, mine's world, not screen. World is wonky for you. I never managed to get screen to work properly. Screen always was weird for me. So I use world. But also, I don't need screen because I don't need it to auto-rotate because my camera is fixed. Like, the angle on it is fixed, so I never needed to rotate, really. So, in my case, right, it works. Let's see if this works. Screen is just cheaper, that's why you picked it, but you're not sure on that one? Yeah, not a clue. I mean, my rule of thumb is I'm gonna pick the one that is easiest for me to use and then go from there. Like, if it gives me more friction, then it's just not worth it to me. I'd rather have the one that's gonna be like the most intuitive, the easiest for me to like, oh yeah, this is this. And screen, for me, for whatever reason, I kept trying to change different values and just couldn't get it to appear. So I went with world, I think. And then I've been on world since. I think that's what happened. This is working. Remove your bindings down, call set text rebindings. I never do bindings because bindings are on tick. I just do a call function events and just tell it to update a value. Well, looks good. Yeah. These all have the 2 material. Do you need the custom 0? I wonder. I might, oh yeah, I need to put custom 0 on all of the, I know, oh, I need to also do it on this guy. On the dead end. Dead end is in a separate spot. And then I need to go to the characters. Sprite, custom 0. And then I need to put, go onto the projectiles. Which is for the UI that is always visible, like health bars, resources, etc. The rest doesn't really matter, like upgrade screens. Makes sense. Okay, so I need to go. Okay, so the meshes need to be on 1. Particle system 0. Flipbook 0. Niagara 0. Mesh 1. Arrow does not matter one bit. There, let's take a look. I'm so curious to see what the performance will be at the end of this. How the performance numbers will change. Oh, by the way, I'm not even... I've turned off so many things now. I've basically reverted back to UE4 in a sense for many things. I'm using so few actual UE5 features. Agra, obviously, I'm using. But... yeah, this looks good. Yep, the projectile looks good. Ooh, the arrow also needs to be updated. Yep, that looks good. Ooh, this guy I missed. I missed this guy. Let's do the arrow real quick. Oh, you have arrows on the enemies. Turn you. Turn off any plugins yet? Yep. Turned off a bunch of them. I found a page on Reddit that had a big list. And I was like, yep. Are you guys using invalidation boxes and stuff on the widgets? No, maybe. What is an invalidation box? I don't, probably not, because I don't know what that is. What features turn off that cost a good amount of performance? Screen space global illumination. Nanite. Lumen. No more virtual shadow maps. Back to old school shadow maps. All of this ring a bell to UE4 days. The thing is, I can get away with it for my project, but this is not stuff you can just turn off for like every project. All right. Screen Smith Global Illusion apparently is deprecated now in 5.8, isn't it? Anyway, I have no idea. I'm still on 5.7, and it was on. So I turned it off. So you're on 0. Niagara's on 0. All of you guys are on 1. And you're on 1. I think that's it. You guys are already updated. But yeah, the stuff that I turned off works for me, but not everything, right, can be turned off for everyone. One of the big ones for me was freaking TSR anti-aliasing. It was set to be the default in my options, but freaking anti-aliasing is just doing the upscaling, even when you're full res. It's so stupid. Sally, have to go with Lumen. Do you have a dynamic environment? A dynamic runtime environment kind of thing? Like, visually, it is the nicest, right? But, like, a lot of it, for me, is lost. Oh, yeah, I turned off reflections. I literally set reflections to none, and I'm not even using a sphere reflection capture. Because it just makes no difference. With this look, I don't even need those. Spawn dynamically levels into the current levels, so it's also destructible objects. Well, keep in mind that I'm also using, right, the environment here is being generated at runtime. No, it cannot be baked lighting. I wish, I really wanted it to be, but you cannot use baked lighting with runtime generation, even with level instances, which is what this is. Yep. You. Oh, I forgot you. I missed one. Just those two. What is the PCG at runtime that you need? I don't need anything at runtime. My PCG is not runtime. Mine's preset. This is preset. This is not runtime. Unless you weren't asking me. We did you already. I think we're good now. Just gotta refresh all the PCGs again. So it updates. It does not use Skylight Cube Map for reflections. No. In none, it uses reflection captures. It is the way that I'm used to working. I'm very much a bake and reflection captures guy. I did that for years. But yeah, it uses reflection captures. But here you don't see reflections. It's tuned. So there's no point to even bother with them. Like, I can, if I want to change the look of an area, I can use it for that. And I can basically make it look like something else if I wanted to, but not specifically for a reflection, right? The reflection part is not really going to do anything. Why you can't have baked lighting? Because my dungeon's generated at runtime. It's not, my dungeon's not made with PCG. My dungeon is generated at runtime. It uses pre-made level instances. You cannot have baked lighting on anything that spawns at runtime. That's why. It's not a PCG thing. It's just a runtime thing. Kind of have to use upscaling with Unreal. You did so many optimizations. Still native performance is 120 FPS on high graphics. With quality upscaling, it's 200. And everything is GPU. It's Lumen and Nanite. Yeah, it depends on what you're doing, right? If you're going Lumen and Nanite, you're going to have a base cost to things. And also depends on what resolution and what hardware. Because you're saying 120 FPS on high. But under what hardware and what what GPU? Because we're talking GPU here, and what resolution? TSR AA will try to upscale even at full res. To be clear, if you turn on TSR AA and have at full 100% resolution, you will have extra costs for no reason. So don't ever use TSR AI if you're at native resolution. Just friendly word of advice. Because it will basically have the upscale cost without any of the upscale benefit. It's like 1 point something MS just for that. Not worth it. Use any other one that doesn't upscale. Now, as for reflection captures, if you don't use reflection captures, it falls back to the Skylight cube map. If you don't have a cube map, it falls to... Oh, see, that one I didn't know. I've never had no reflection captures. In this scenario, I have none because I just actually didn't care about it. But in any other environment, you'll always have at least the one. So I didn't know that if you have none, that it falls back on Skylight cube map. That's cool. I mean, 160 FPS native is still pretty good at 1440p, right? Like, it depends on the game you're making. If you're making a competitive game, yeah, you might want to be above 160. If you're making like an RPG, 160 is fantastic. Now, I don't know how it's going to translate to lower hardware though. So that's the only thing. Right? It depends on what game you're making. Your FPS budget, like what you need to hit, really depends on the kind of game you're making. And like, do you need reaction time? Is it a puzzle game? Like, if it is a slow puzzle game where barely anything moves, it can run at 30 FPS and, you know, it'll be fine. Oh, that's right. It's the one that I said looks like oh shit, it's the ants one again. I forgot the name. I remember. Yeah, for that I would want, because that is higher paced. Hades Diablo. Oh no, oh that one. Yeah, 160 for that is fantastic. That's basically what mine is. I think 160 is great. Now the thing is, I don't know how 160 will translate to lower end hardware. Like, if you had like a 1080, I don't know what FPS you're gonna get there. Now, I would not expect to be on ultra or high at 1080, right? On a 1080, I would expect to be like on low, medium. And as long as you're still getting good FPS on that, then I think you're good. I just don't have a way of testing that myself. I actually opened up my old laptop and I was like, oh, maybe I'll see about, you know, bringing my project over. It has a 940M. It refused to even update anything because things are that out of date. Like, I couldn't update Chrome even. I couldn't update drivers. I couldn't update anything. It's like, not supported. Probably because it needs to have like a bunch of Windows updates too. So I was like, yeah, screw it, not worth it. For 940M, I'm just not even gonna try. I'm not going that far back in that low of a spec for my game. Steam Deck user got 70 FPS with upscaling quality and low settings. What about the native? Do you know? What is low settings on a Steam Deck with native? Because if 70 with upscaling could be good if, you know, native was like 50. Right? If native was 20, then that's a problem. 15 or 20. Okay, so yeah, then it's doing a little bit too much. So so in that regard, you probably try to get to like 200 plus. Figure out, so keep in mind that a package build can output this as a shipping build. You can run stat FPS and stat unit on a shipping build. So do a shipping build where you can have a button to turn this on. And then take a look as you're playing, which one is really high in comparison to the others, and then tackle that one. So if you're seeing, like, for example, your GPU is very high, then go back in and do a profile GPU and see where you can maybe cut some stuff. Also, if you're using Lumen and you're on 5.8, depending on how many lights you're using, consider enabling megalights. It has a base cost, but again, it scales infinitely better. So maybe you should go with megalights. Again, depends on your setup. If you have a lot of lights, that is the go-to. Okay, so we're good here. Good here. Excuse me, guys. I'm just checking the environment. Hey, want to do your ability just so we can see it? Yep. Oh, I should look at the aura effects. Like, you're looking okay, but I want to go in and actually set it. Also, we're going to fix that aura. Let's go to Horus. Nagra. Custom 0. And then we probably want to do the same thing for another dummy trace. This one. Set custom runner custom depth to be true, and set custom depth value to be 0. Well, I guess it will default to 0, so it's fine. Undestinable will target 2070 and 2080. I have a 2080 actually in my closet. I just don't have a computer to just easily plug it into. Megalights handles a lot of lights. You, in general, don't want to have a lot of overlapping lights in, like, just in general, if you can. It's a lot of times you can improve your performance a lot by just increasing the intensity and reducing the radius. So what I mean is, let's say you have a light here and you're kind of illuminating this area, okay? Well, your actual radius of attenuation radius could be like this, but you just don't see it here, basically. Or it could be this. So this will be considerably cheaper than this. The difference is the light needs to be stronger when it's a smaller attenuation radius to basically have a similar result. It won't be perfectly similar or perfectly exactly the same, but it will be close. It will illuminate the main area you want. Basically, reduce it as much as you can, and it will greatly save you on performance. Because the more things it affects at those negligible numbers, the more expensive that light is. Like if you had every single light in your scene cover your entire environment, your performance will just be 0. Depending how many lights you have, obviously. But if you have a lot of smaller compact lights, right, it'll be a lot better. Obviously, things like casting shadows and other things like that, you can reduce to improve performance as well. But this is an easy one where you can save a lot of performance by just having a smaller attenuation radius to really just affect the areas you want. Hope that helps. Steam Deck requires upscaling for graphically demanding games. It makes sense. You've seen the guys at Epic talking about Megalights as if it was a combined direct lighting and shadowing solution. it is like if you're using lumen and a lot of lights, go with mega lights. Your performance will improve. Right? It's for those scenarios. Lumen by itself cannot handle a ton of lights, but it's basically right. You have to figure out what you want to have, because you could have dynamic lighting and no lumen, right? You can just do old school dynamic lighting. If that's an option, you won't have GI, right? You won't have the global illumination ports, which is a kind of a big thing for visuals. So it will not look nearly as good, but maybe there's ways of faking it. So depending on the game you're making, maybe that's fine. Pluses and minuses, one is better for certain things, the other is better for other things. Say a good amount for you is to disable shadow for all static meshes, because global light force shadow drawing, and then you enable it only for stuff close to light sources, etc. Yeah, that'll do it. Reducing things that cast shadows is a great way of doing it. Also, when you're doing nanite, don't just put in a high density mesh. Nanite has its own way that you want to it's kind of the same. So when you have nanite, let's say you have, we're going to use like the typical rock scenario, but this rock, you're only going to look at it from this angle, straight on, right? You're just looking straight on at this rock. So, but this rock is built for nanite, so it has like a ton of geo here, right? Like a ton. It's super dense. It's tiny. This is bad. Don't do this. In general, don't do this regardless. If something, let's say, is being seen from a single angle, all of this information can be a normal map and have very few triangles. And all of the triangles that you can keep are just on the borders. So by doing this, the nanite cost is considerably lessened, because the cost of nanite is basically how much crunching is it doing. There's a base cost, but then after that is how much crunching is it doing. So the more it crunches, the more expensive it is, which is why you don't want to put 5 million tries as 5 pixels in the background. But if you're like staring right up against it and like super detailed and you see it from like all sides, you're gonna need to have like everything that basically changes the silhouette, right? All of this that you will see as a silhouette, put the tries in there. But anything where you don't see it, like as a silhouette change, reduce the amount of tries. You don't have to kill it entirely, but right, you need to reduce here. This is a general modeling tip, nanite or not nanite. But for nanite, that is like one thing that a lot of people overlook. They think, oh, it's nanite, so they'll just go ahead and just give it 5 million tries and call it a day, when you still have to properly model it. And then they're like, oh, nanite is so bad. No, you just didn't do it properly. You're just assuming a lot of stuff about nanite, which it doesn't do. It's not a magic button. It's also not a bad button. It's a tool. You gotta use the tool right. Reduce the shadow quality, especially in your games that are top-down. Oh yeah, you can reduce the shadow quality quite a bit. It depends on kind of what kind of shadows you have. Yeah, reduce shadow amounts, quality, all that good stuff. Yeah, reduce it as much as you can before you start noticing differences. Yeah, absolutely. This kind of stuff, by the way, I mean, you're way further on than I am. So for you, I think it starts to make sense to start looking into that stuff. For me, it's probably too early on to really care that much. I just, for some reason, over the weekend, just felt like looking into the GPU, and then I made it just a giant improvement in performance. I was like, now I was motivated to do some more because I like doing optimization stuff. Is just, you know, when there's no point, there's no point. Like in terms of, you know, time and stuff. Yeah, looks good. Yep, that looks good. Yeah, we need to fix that. I think we got everything. Ooh, why is that projectile not destroying itself? Why is that not disappearing? A little bug here. You can allow specific lights to use megalights. Yes, but when you're using megalights, it's just better to use all megalights, I believe. It's like nanite. You don't want to mix nanite and non-nanite in your project. You want to either go all nanite or no nanite. The worst combination is a mix of both. An equal mix of both is the worst combination you can do. Try to do either all nanite or nothing. Where's the baking? There's a... There's a static can, like, bake static lighting checkbox that I'm meant to actually turn off. Allow static lighting. I don't think that's gonna have a big impact on cost, but why not? You'll hire an artist for your capsule. Do it. Do it. Hellblade 1 is such an interesting game. I remember playing it. The audio in it, like the audio experience, was second to none. Like, I've never experienced a game in terms of like audio experience like it until then and since then. But I will say the gameplay wasn't that good. The actual game wasn't that good. The audio experience was fantastic. The game, the ending was real disappointing. But man, that audio experience was so good. Your skeletal meshes are still without nanite. You had a weird issue, but that was many versions ago. Yeah, I would try, if you can, turn it on. Right, that's the thing now. It'll help. And also make sure you avoid translucency like the plague. Only do it for things like glass where you have to. But even then, if you can get away with a masked and debuffer, right, the one that does the dots to make it look like it's transparent. If you can get away with that and not have it look like really bad, in your opinion, then I would still use that method. Dithering, yes, that one. Thank you. Yeah, if you feel like you can, dithering gets you the result you want, it's still going to be infinitely better than using translucency. Also, make sure that any object, when working with nanite, make sure that any object that has a material that is translucent is not also on the same thing that is not translucent. Separate the translucent material thing into its own object. Like, for example, if you have a car with translucent windows, separate the windows into its own object. Because otherwise, the entire car cannot be nanite because of those windows. Which is bad. Stuff like this is basically my wheelhouse. That's that's what I've been doing for years now in virtual production. It's just all been nanite. Lumen not so much, because we just never had the bandwidth. Well, it's baked environments with nanite basically since Unreal nanite came out. What, 5.1 or whatever it was? No, it was 5.0. 5.0 had nanite. Yeah, I remember the first environment that I worked on was only possible thanks to nanite, because the entire environment had over 5 to 6 million tries in view at any one time. And yeah, it was only possible to run because of nanite. So like, right, there's use cases for nanite. It's just not for all use cases. A lot of people think it's a magic button. It's not. It's a tool. It never worked for translucency one. Nanite always nanite has never worked with translucency on a material. That's why I say you need to separate that object into its own thing. That's never been a thing. It used to complain at you. Early versions used to complain at you, but now instead of complaining, it just turns it off. So the result is the same. Nanite is off. The difference is just whether it screams at you about it or just quietly turns it off. That's really the only difference. Only have certain things on nanite is no longer a thing in the new engine versions. No, you can. You can do only certain things nanite. You can. It's not recommended though. You will have better performance going all one or all the other. Mixing will hurt more. Like having some nanite and some non-nanite will hurt performance more than having all nanite, is what I'm saying. But you can absolutely have some non-nanite. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, fab assets are hit and miss. Absolutely. It's unfortunate. But yeah. Like, if you take a look at any model on fab, they're not going to show you the wireframe. The 1 or 2 times I've seen the wireframe, I was disappointed. But 99% of them will never show you the wireframe of the model. Why? You know why. And then they'll definitely never show you the UVs of the model. Right? Because good UVs are even more challenging than a good model. The art of UVing, people don't understand anymore. In VFX especially. In VFX, people just hit, a lot of them just hit auto on wrap, and it just like, oh yeah, then Substance will take care of it. Like, yes, but that's not good UVs. And then they're like, oh, what do you mean Unreal doesn't like this? Yeah. Convert to static mesh and then anime with a timeline in the end. Yeah, there you go. Don't even get you started on Niagara VFX, especially Portal ones on Fab. Oh, that's what this is. This is the Portal VFX, Niagara VFX from Fab. It's cool. Eventually, by the way, all of these Portal VFX will be replaced with NPCs. The only reason I have these now is because I don't have NPCs. But the plan is to basically maybe have a portal just for like a gateway to go to the dungeon itself. But which pack is this? Advanced Portal Systems VFX. No, this is not a floor one. I just rotated it. It's called Advanced Portal System VFX. Why am I logged out? And of course the search went away. It's expensive. I think it was for free for the month at one point. I think this one was free for the month at one point. So this is it. I just rotated it to face down. Here, I'll link this one. Hey Eric, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Do you consider using Godot for medium games instead of Unreal, or even use Unreal for small to medium games? It depends on really your knowledge with coding, I would say. If you're comfortable with coding, then yeah, it's expensive, but it was free. That's the thing. It was free in one of the free for the month or free for the 2 weeks things. That's how I got it. I didn't pay $100 for these. There was a sale that finished just a little bit ago, but you can wait for another sale, see if they go on sale. Yeah, if you are more of an artist, then I would go with Unreal because blueprints. If you're comfortable with coding, then for a small to medium scale game, I would go Godot. How'd you remove the picture inside the portals without removing the whole background inside the portal? What do you mean remove the pictures inside? I didn't remove shit. I removed nothing. See? It's right there. It looks kind of cool. Again, it's going to be all replaced at one point anyway, so like, it doesn't matter. You can't remove the... Oh, it's part of the Niagara system. I'm sure if I went into the Niagara system, I could. I just didn't care enough because I thought it looked cool. I liked them, so I kept them. I didn't really try. Oh, I see the one you linked, Vicious. Yeah, not that one. Yours doesn't look great. This is actually one of the things that I just don't like about a lot of effects in general. So, you see how it looks like it's made with a lot of dots? A lot of like... So each one of these is a particle. Each little dot here is a particle. And I hate the look it gives when you just see a lot of little dot particles. I much prefer when it's like looks like a moving sprite in a sense. You know, you can do a moving like texture and have it move that way, right? But when it looks like this, it just I hate the little dots look. Personally, just it's not for me. They're just loading their attacks and all that. Yep, there you go. As to recache everything because it turned off cast shadows. No, just fake static lighting. Use Magic Portal's VFX configurator and change some materials. Nice. Yeah, if it works. Okay, I think we're ready to heck? No, I won't. You. That's what I meant to do. Yeah, look at that. Look at that world tick, basically non-existent. Oh, what's going on here? Only do this if you're out. If it's not valid, don't do any of this, because it doesn't matter. Just for the Niagara effects. Or I guess I can do get self, but that's fine. Okay. Yeah, look at that. It's all here. It's all under this now. Post-processing. Oh yeah, let me go, where's that post-processing material? I can go ahead and just kill all of this. Just replace it with you. Also, can I do lerps all the way here? No, right? No, it's not really a lerp category. Unless I divided both and then used it. No, no, this is not a lerp category. That's fine. If nodes are relatively expensive, but so I could improve the performance a little bit. That's a cool water hot. Cool. Maybe. I don't know what that means. I'll show you which one it is. Where is it? It's one by this lovely chap, Prismatica Dev. This is the shader that I got. There you go. Yeah, so this is his. Here's the if, and he just, you know, here's a giant if chain. I mean, this is a 5-year-old video, right? So, like, but yeah, this is what I used as the base, and then I added on top of that. There's probably better ways of doing this. Yeah, 1 year ago. I used to do a lot of random tutorials, but he stopped. He made it big with his plugin, and now he doesn't want to talk to us anymore. Just enable megalites, shadows, and skeleton characters are blotchy. Is that normal? Like half not being rendered? I think you need to like configure some settings. I'm not a megalites expert.
Running ads so the power stays on. Stream paused. No one touch my variables while I'm gone.
I think you need to, usually when you see stuff like what you're experiencing, that is just like a, that's a setting that you can configure up per light. I forget what setting it is. It's one of them. You can have this happen also just under any light in general. It basically needs to, adjust the kind of the fill that it does. I bet I forget what it's called. If you ask an AI, it'll tell you probably, or you just play around with the settings. I would play around with the settings regardless, so you can figure out what they do. Hey, you're gonna need to tweak some values. He's just streaming foot placement kinematic system. He's making every day. I think I follow him on Twitch, but I think he streams. I think he's Australian. Is it Australia? If I recall, going off the accent as well. So the time he streams basically is when I'm sleeping, so I never see him. So if he's streaming these days, I wouldn't know. It seems like 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., which is super late here. Yeah, so makes sense why I never end up seeing him. 9 on skeleton seems to work, but you don't get any performance increases. Probably because you reduce the triangle count a lot, so it's not demanding anyway. So you're not. Yeah, you might not see like a giant increase. Yeah, if you made a lot of like try reductions, then right. Then it works better with higher tries, obviously. It has a bigger impact. So if you're pretty optimized, you're not going to see a big deal. But if you were to like zoom out, or if you just increased the amount of characters, you would see a difference when you turn it off and on. So like if you put like 1,000 characters on the screen with and without them being nanite, you would see a difference. Because nanite has the minimum cost, but the main thing about things like nanites is the system of nanite is it scales really well, right? So when you're only looking at one character, you might not see a difference, but if you're working like 1,000 or 100 characters, right, or however many characters, you might start noticing, oh, yeah, it's starting to be more and more like improvement. Yeah, if you go from 150k to 20k, yeah, you'd see that. You could probably get away with 150k at nanite down. Shall we package this? Like, I don't want to package this. And see where we're at. Either way, as you said, it does not make things worse. And at any point, you can always disable it again. All right. So at that point, might as well keep it on and keep things simple and all consistent. Yeah, my project has it fully disabled. Nanite is fully off. Fun fact, if you turn off Nanite and all your stuff, but keep Nanite on the project level on, it has the base cost. So if you're not using Nanite in your project at all, turn off Nanite in the project settings. No, Nanite is how you get that super realistic look. But yeah, a lot of people misuse Nanite. Hey, no, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you doing well. Hope you do well. What are you doing today? We're doing some optimization stuff. And what's it called? Now packaging to see kind of the end results of all the optimizations we've done so far. There's actually a video tomorrow morning coming out of that unboxing, so you'll get to see it then. I went ahead and edited down the little segment of me unboxing a bunch of stuff. It was a big box. I still have the box. Big box. Video out tomorrow about the unboxing. I was like, why not? I don't have a short. I didn't have enough shorts for this week, so I was like, yeah, cool. I'll just post that. If you like Star Trek, you're gonna like this video. If you don't like Star Trek, then you're probably not gonna or you're not gonna like the video. If you're indifferent to it, then you're gonna be then who knows. It was basically a Star Trek mystery box. I was considering wearing one of the things from it, but nah. How many shots are you making a week? I mean, like VFX shots? 0. I don't work in VFX. I work in virtual production. I work with Unreal, so I don't do any shots at all. I couldn't. It's not me. I work on the environments in Unreal. That's my thing. Make the environments, optimize the environments, put them on the LED walls. That's my forte. Oh, how many like YouTube shorts? Okay, that's what you meant. Well, I try to post them every day. I don't upload a video. So I upload videos Sundays, and I try to make a short for Monday through Saturday. But this week I just didn't have enough that I was ready with, so I ran out. Some streams, like I'll get a couple of short things that I can talk about. Like if there's some good questions that people ask in chat that I can answer, like I'll make a short out of that. Like there's a couple of things from today that I was showing that I have that pressed my short making button. Not really, but it basically just takes a small recording. Yeah, so usually there's six shorts a week. I'm definitely it's definitely a quantity, not quality approach to things. You should ask better questions. We'll try it today. No, it's okay. Just because you ask a better question doesn't mean I'll even think of it as good for a short, or even think about making a short out of it. If I was actually entertaining, people would clip me themselves. But I'm not, so people don't. It's okay. I'll cry about it after the stream. My tooth pain is slowly numbing down, or maybe I'm just thinking about other stuff, and so maybe I'm just not noticing it as much. Holy crap! I just turned off fake lighting. Why is it taking so long just from that? I don't know if that'll make an impact on performance. I don't think it will, but you know, it's like I'm not using it. Turning things off can't hurt. Turn off all the things. It always hurts. What are you? The Hulk? That's your secret? You're always in pain? Is way too much enabled by default? I think it's fine. I think having a lot of stuff enabled by default is fine because it is new user friendly. And when you're intermediate or advanced enough to understand it, then you're advanced enough to also be able to comfortably turn it off. While someone who's getting into the engine, who doesn't know anything, having to enable a bunch of stuff that can feel a little bit of a bigger wall to get into. Because someone who's only starting out shouldn't need to care about that stuff. So I'm okay with more stuff being enabled than it needs to be. Like, as a baseline. As long as you're turning them off, it's fine. As far as you know, turning it off makes the shaders lighter. So it could have an impact. Not massive, but a little something for sure. Could be. Yeah. Yeah, there's posts on like Reddit and stuff you can look up to find the lists of like things people typically turn off that's not needed. Like for example, if you're not making an iPhone or an Android game, there's a bunch of stuff for it that's enabled, right? You can turn all that stuff off. Now, make sure you like understand what you're turning off, that you don't actually need it. One way of checking is to, like, if you don't know what one of those things is, ask an AI to explain to you what it is, or maybe explain what kind of game you're making, like in general, and say, hey, is this something that I can turn off safely? Is this not going to affect me? Or like, what? He'll tell you. I use that a little bit to kind of understand some of the stuff that I've never heard of. Because some stuff, like, it's just like for like third-party applications that are good for like industries that are unrelated to like any of the stuff we're doing. They're kind of like more like medicine and, you know, that kind of stuff. I just didn't know about it, or like machinery. Hang on. Yeah, don't need that. Turn it off. Here's lists. Find yourself a list. Hopefully this will be finished soon. Let's go going for 9 minutes. At least the next time he'll do this, it won't be this long. You had a lot of things you turned off where you were not able to tell the difference in quality afterwards, mostly for ray tracing. Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. One thing that a lot of times people miss when using Lumen, by the way, and just like lighting in general, is if you have hardware ray tracing disabled, lights will go through back faces. But if you have hardware ray tracing turned on, it will not go through back faces. So if you had like just a simple plane that's, you know, like from one side you see the materials, for the other one you see through it, right? And you had the light going through the backside, then hardware ray tracing will actually properly cast shadows on it, like it was double-sided lit. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not, depending on what you're going for. There's a scenario where I know someone that didn't turn it on when they should have at the beginning, and then they did a bunch of stuff, and then turning it on changed the look way too much that they couldn't afford to turn it on, even though it technically made things better and more accurate. I'm not saying it was cheaper. I don't know what the cost is on that one, but visually it was a big difference. Come on. I don't know the point of this freaking percentage, because it's literally 20, 40, 60, 80, 100%. This percentage means nothing. I can see it's on the third step. I would love for this percentage to be the percentage inside of this step. This is such a useless percentage to have there. You'll buy a mid-range PC when you're close to uploading your game anyway. Yeah, this is the total, irrelevant of the phases. No, it's 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5 are done. Oh, no, 3 out of 5 are done, so it's 60, right? 3 out of 5 is 60. That's why it's just showing you what's done. It doesn't know how much is in here. Like, I know why it's that percent, but it's just a useless percent. I was thinking that because I'd want to test on lower end hardware, finally finished. What I'll probably end up doing is like going to a service where I can rent a bunch of computers for just like per hour, per minute, and just rent a computer of lower specs and launch the game and with whatever I need to like see the performance and go from there. So like rent, you know, a low end machine for like 30 minutes, so just get my game over onto it, launch it, and just see the numbers, something like that. Okay, shall we take a look at the performances? Let's look at the one that was the previous one. So this is the one before we started the performance optimizations, okay? You know this is possible? Yeah. There's services we can rent computers, absolutely. And there's services we can rent computers for a set time. All right, you just rent it for an hour, and you're good. And it's not going to cost you as much as getting a full computer. Now, is it as good as getting your own computer? Yes and no, because you can try out multiple hardware configurations this way. But at the same time, then you have to, each time you want to do this, you have to rent it again, right? So financially, long term, it might not make sense. Ease of use, you know, depends how much you need it. If you need it like once or twice, it might be better. So here we're at 99. We're just touching 100 here for the FPS. So this is the previous version. This is the build that I had before the optimization started. Okay. So here we're already at 70, 60, 63, 67. I'm not really looking what's going on. 67, 68, 70. So we're looking at high 60s, low 70s. We're like 74 right now. 75. Yeah, 62, 50. I saw like a 57 there. So basically that's where we are, okay? So that's where we started. Let's load up this current one. I'll put it under the same configuration. Ultra. Yep. We're at 200. That is basically, you can see in here, flickering basically at 200. So literally double. Let's go, and it's more when I'm not streaming. Yeah, because obviously streaming requires resources. Now let's see how it is with this. You can take a look at this one, right? This why is it at 130? Why is it so low right now? Actually, it shouldn't be that low. What happened here? Hold on. Back up a second. Why are we at 130 here? When I'm not near anything, it should not be 130. It should have been, hold on. Should have been higher. Or maybe I'm just used to looking at it without, because when I was looking at it without any, like OBS or anything, it was 180. It was like 180. Oh, maybe it was just the environment. Here's we go, 150. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of... I mean, we're still 130 compared to where it dropped, what, to 60, 70? So we're double. Regardless. Even with OBS running, we're double. And we're pretty stable at 130, honestly. We were never this stable before. I think before it was dropping considerably more. It's like, even during combat, like it's been stable. Like, it's been really stable. Are you trying for 200 FPS? I would love to go for 200 FPS. Oh, wrong button. Yeah, VSync is off. No frame limit. Just checking. Yep. Everything ultra as normal. I guess this is just a matter of having stuff open versus now versus before. But regardless, let's go back in. Make everyone have VAD, then you're good. Well, I use sprites. I can't use VAD. Mine's already effectively a VAD because it says it's use sprites. How much is it upscaling? Ultra quality? It's not. This is not upscaling anything. This is native. Oh, see, there we go. So this one is 170, 180. It's just a matter of what the dungeon is. Look at that. This is 170, 180. Okay, here we go. Alright. This one also has a lot more effects. We're like around 120 now, 120, 130 now. Okay, that was weird. Oh, I got it. I think I got stuff. Like, a lot of stuff is happening on screen, so we're actually dropped. Either way, we basically double, right? We're basically double, regardless. All right, now we're like 180. There you go. Come here, 170, 130 when we have effects. So, like, I would like to still have less. But it's not terrible. One thing I actually forgot to do. There's one other thing I forgot to do that we can also do. If you run FPS stats, it'll drop your frames a bit, so it will be much higher. It wouldn't be that much higher, because I have my own FPS counter and it's always pretty much matches it. I want to go to... I don't even know where to put it. Other. This is the I forgot to pull the characters. It should be fixed now because it was crashing Unreal unloading, but it should be now fixed because I found out there's an update because Fab didn't tell me. This one. Hey Nemesis, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Now I have 60 FPS to play with. Now what can I add? It depends on the game. It depends on the game and depends the hardware. If you have 60 FPS on like, right, a 1080, that's fantastic. You've done fantastically, right? You have 60 FPS on a 5090, right? That's a little bit different. Also depends on the resolution, right? And depends on if it's a competitive game or not a competitive game. So this is to set up the actor pooling. Object. Take actor from pool of you. This goes here. And then for spawn, despawn. It's you, and then return actor. Actor's actor, you're the context object. And true. Okay, and then in the project settings, text partition. So now here's the test. Can I close and reopen Unreal and not have it crash? Are we gonna be good? Is it fixed now? Nope. No, still can't do it. I'm gonna send that to the Discord. He said he sent an update, but clearly not good enough. Okay, so what I need to do now is go and delete that file that I just made. Okay, well, still can't do it. Put it into the blueprints. Thankfully, it's just a matter of deleting that file, and then it should. Well, I was hoping. A part of me is tempted to re-enable the static static baking, but just to really test the difference. But no, yeah, it's pretty much the same. The one thing that it dropping to 200 I don't like, because it was 260 right when I was doing my own tests outside of OBS. I feel like that's too big of a drop. What can we still do? Let's go look. Let's do another profile GPU. Because maybe we should take a look at some of the smaller stuff at this point. Oh, wrong hotkey. Oh, it was because it was loading all the characters. Now, yeah, there we go. Now the frame's gonna be dropped. Let's see. What are you? Render graph execute. What are you? Oh, I know what this is. I know what this is. This is... Hey, Achilles, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. It's these. It's these. They're in the world. Let's give them the same treatment. Okay. That's gonna help with that. Are you rendering based on partition, i.e. only what the player can see, assuming this is the case? In a sense, yes, because built-in frustum culling. Like if I did, so if I did freeze rendering, and then ejected, you will see a bunch of stuff that was not part of it is not spawned. Now some stuff is still here for some reason. I don't know why these are still spawning, but a lot of the PCG parts of it aren't. But this is something that I will look into a later point. I don't care. This is like, I don't think this is going to be the big one for me. Hey, 10-7, welcome in. How's it going? Doing well. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. So this takes care of these guys, right? Which is, you know, a little bit. What do we have here? Another render graph one. So hopefully this takes care of all of these. This is 0, so we don't care about it. So that takes care of pretty much all of this. Then we have, again, at this point, my main things is shadow depth, base pass, post process. Our post rendering has dropped down. I can reduce the bloom. Yeah, the outline material costs a little bit, but they're not a lot. There's just a lot of little stuff that just slightly adds up. All right, the deferred lighting. The reflection indirect. I don't need. What is that from? When doing profile GPU, what is the source of reflection? Correct. Shader, so don't. No, lumen's disabled. Lumen is disabled. It also thought the same thing. Oh, it still comes from lumen reflection path. Yeah, mine is already set to none. It's I already have that. What it's saying. Oh, here I can set it to none. Here I didn't set the default to none. But that. Oh, so maybe that's it. Maybe it was from the. It shouldn't be. That's odd. Because it's talking about lumen reflections, but I don't have lumen reflections on any of those places. It's one of those, like, I do not need any reflections in my setup. I can fake the reflections myself. Run these constant command, then reprofile GPU. Hold on. What is the reflection method? Reflection method is already 0. Lumen reflections allows 1. Yeah, let's try running this one more time. I'm gonna leave it at 0, and then we'll turn it to 1 and see if that goes away when we do this one. Hello, Commander. Welcome in. How's it going? You doing well? RJ is PCG dependent, and you haven't updated to 5.8.1 yet. Is the PCG issue introduced in the update still there? Yes. What even was the issue? If you have the same input name and output name of anything in PCG, you're gonna have a bad time. There is a fix for it, so if you want to update and then apply the fix, you can. But okay, I took 2 screenshots. So I'm looking for reflection and direct. Also, look at that. We went from having all of this to now a whole lot less. So we don't have reflection and direct anymore this time. This is before I turned it off. No, I do. It's just not a space. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to do reflection. Okay. Sure. So it's still there. So that didn't get rid of it. Is it a masterclass in optimizing? I don't know about that. This is just GPU optimizing. This is the easy stuff in my book. This is the stuff I understand. What if you go into, if I load up the profiler? Oh, God help me. Okay, we'll ignore that one for now. But that still was better. What is this? Render graph execute. This is different. This is different than the world tick render graph slate widget renderer. What is this? What is the render graph execute slate? It's eating up 7 milliseconds. No, though this is an editor in case it's not a thing in a shipping, because it could be the editor itself. So I want to check that, because Slate, I believe, is just the full UI. But I don't know if this is the... which one it is. Is a GPU cost of executing the render dependency graph, RDG, that draws Slate UI. You're profiling in the editor, so this pass includes the full editor. Okay, so yeah, this is the editor, so we can ignore it. Okay. You can ignore this. So then really our cost on GPU I mean, am I doing anything with distance fields? I think something is using distance fields. I want to say yes, I'm using distance fields, if I recall. But really, it's the post-processing. I want to have a cheaper depth of field, if I could. I just really like the depth of field visual, but if I kill it, right, it'll be cheaper, obviously. I can kill bloom, right, or reduce bloom, and it'll be cheaper. But honestly, I'm pretty low at this point. Custom depth is still here. Why is custom depth still here at 0.75? Hold on. Am I still using custom depth in my post-processing materials? I shouldn't be anymore. I thought I removed it. Oh yeah, the screenshot camera. Never really mattered. Oh! Oh! I am using custom depth here. I shouldn't need to. I just need this. Some depth, scene depth. Oh, if it's hiding. That's why. This was for if it was hiding. I wouldn't see it. I don't really care about that. Let's just try this real quick. Are you seriously optimizing if you had 100 to 250 FPS? Or is this just for flavor? Well, I'm optimizing because I had that on a 4080. And I had a bit over 100 on a 4080. On a 4080, I need to have considerably more if I want to have like better performance on lower end cards. So, and if I can do something to optimize a little bit here, like why not? There are a couple of cheaper depth of field methods, but you going for this tilt shift effect, probably the good depth of field is the right choice. Was it 4K? No, 1440. That was 1440p. So if I was in 4K, this would be considerably lower frame rate. I would like to be able to do 4K at 120, but at the current moment, I wouldn't be able to in combat. Okay, so now it's working. This is working. If I had him go back here, let me just move you here. Yeah, you'll see him through walls. Is it the end of the world? No. You could see him through walls. Like, I'll look into culling through. I got this from somewhere else. You can tell because the color of the boxes. But that's going to help with the custom depth being gone. Right, that's 0.75. That's a pretty good chunk. So already we could probably do a test. One last test for the night. It should be a lot faster to package this time. Most of this should be cached. If I recall correctly, I did a post-process blur type thing through a... Like, there's ways of doing it, and you could put it between the layers. But then you have transparency, like, layering, depending on how many layers there are. It's not worth it. I was just thinking of alternatives to the depth of field. I just really like how it looks. Yeah, there we go. Let's see our final final test for the night. Ultra, please. Same thing here, but that the improvement should have been in the combat. It should have been higher stable because we removed some more stuff. Look at that. So now we're right now at around 200. No combat. We have a few mobs over there that's loaded though. So 130, 120. I'm not looking where I'm attacking. I'm just looking at the things. 150. But it was like 120, 130 for a bit. Now we're at 150. So it's better. I saw it go to like 110. 120, 130. So it's not quite there, like in terms of what I would love. And if I did you, our main thing is 5 points GPU. Yeah, our GPU is still the bottleneck. At yep. GPU is still bottleneck. Which makes sense. That's always the freaking bottleneck. But, you know, it was better, I think. Yeah, it's hard to tell because it's right, procedural dungeon. But look at that, it's like 230. And now we're like 160 territory, 140, 120, and there it goes. 150, 160. So it is good, right? At 1440p, it's pretty good. I would like somehow more. Also, you can see through that guy. There's some stuff we're going to fix. Anyway. Considering where we were, where it was going at 60 FPS or so, It went to what, like 130, 140-ish from like 60-ish. So it more than doubled. And this is, by the way, while OBS is running. It'll be higher if OBS wasn't running. But if I give it to a streamer, they'll obviously have OBS running. Although a lot of the big ones have dual PC setups, but regardless, right? If a streamer plays it, that'll be the FPS they get. So it is what it is. A draw is the number of stuff. You got to reduce the number of stuff. If you have a lot of static meshes, select all of them in a section and make them just a single packed level instance. So that way it just instances them together, and so it's less individual actors. That's something you typically do at the end, but you can do it like a small test to see how it is, maybe in a small area. And you should see a big difference. This is why PCG is so nice, because it automatically does that. It automatically makes instances instead of individual actors. So your draw is low because of that. Almost automatically, effectively. Yeah. Anyways, guys, it's been fun. It seems like the person is messaging me. And yeah, we'll see. We'll go from there. Anyway, hope you all have a fantastic rest of your night. I think for now, optimizing is good. We leave it as is. Honestly. That means I have to go animation time. Well, maybe I'll finally go to the boss and start doing that. I've been putting it off too much. Yeah, we'll figure it out tomorrow. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6:30 Pacific. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.